Bismillah walhamdulillah wa salatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome all viewers. So about a month ago, I posted a clip entitled Unrealistic Expectations of Modern Men and Women. And in this clip, I basically just talk about how men have a natural reaction when they see a woman who isn't dressed appropriately. I mentioned the effect that this has on a society. Now, the video has over 800 comments. Alhamdulillah, most of the feedback has been positive, but there have been a common response that certain people are posting, which made me want to make a follow-up video. Firstly, I just want to preface by saying, as Muslims, when we are conveying the message of Islam, we should have no doubt whatsoever that our deen is the truth, because this is divine revelation from the all-knowing, from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why I make videos like this. It's not because these are my ideas that I came up with. It's just information that's backed by Islam. And I know that Islam is the truth, so I'm confident in conveying that. Now, that doesn't mean that I can't be corrected in terms of conveying things better. However, I want to emphasize in this video that sometimes it's not that you didn't convey the message properly. It's that people already have their mind made up about something, and they're not really concerned with being sincere or seeking the truth, or even having an honest conversation with integrity. Some people, they just want a virtue signal. Like, as soon as anything is mentioned that gives them an opportunity to portray themselves as good or holding on to a certain woke idea, they just jump at that opportunity. So, for example, some people, they are of the belief that a woman should be able to dress however she wants, and that she should never be told how to dress, and that doing so is oppressive, and so on and so forth. So since they already have their mind made up, no matter what you say, if you talk about the hijab, how it was legislated by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, you talk about the wisdoms behind it, they don't get past the idea that a woman dressing inappropriately can negatively affect her and the society. They never get past that. And this is not only a way for people to virtue signal, but it's also a way to try to keep people quiet. It's a way to manipulate a situation and bully people into not conveying certain ideas. And this is something Muslims particularly should be aware of, because many of our beliefs go against the so-called progressive agenda that people are pushing nowadays. So it's very common for them to use these tactics against us and our beliefs. So for example, I'm going to read some of the comments. I'm just going to randomly scroll. So this person says, "This thought process is so sick to me. There's nothing wrong with someone wanting to dress the way they want to dress. If someone does harm to that person, it's the fault of the violator only." So there are many comments that expressed this same sentiment. I never in my video said or even remotely implied that the violator was justified in his violation and that it's the fault of the person who is dressing inappropriately. But if people want to flood the comment section and act like I did say that, or act like I was implying that, then it's a way for them to virtue signal, because they are then defending the victim, and then I automatically become the enemy, because in this make-believe world, this make-believe scenario that they have set up in their mind, I'm preaching that, yeah, you can harm people based on the way that they're dressed. Therefore, it scares away anyone to actually think rationally about what I'm actually saying. And what I'm actually saying is that men have a reaction, a natural reaction, when they see a woman that is dressed a certain way. And that if we look at the society where this has become the norm, where people are dating, where women are dressing in this way, let's look at how that's affected the society. Let's look at how that has harmed women. It's harmed men. It's harmed the family. But you see, many people are scared of even entering that arena of conversation, of thought, of reflection, because people are so quick to virtue signal and to demonize an opinion that goes against their concept of being progressive and modern and free. But I urge those of you who have the truth with you, don't let these tactics discourage you or keep you quiet. Again, that's not to say that I can't necessarily convey the message better, but we should also realize that in some cases, no matter how nice you convey the truth, there are people who are going to reject it. There are people who are going to use these tactics to call you names, to manipulate the truth. This is something that happened to the best of mankind, the prophets, peace be upon them. So it's not something that we should be so surprised about. There are people who are going to hate you for believing in the truth, for trying to convey the truth. But at the end of the day, what's important is, number one, that you're upon the truth. And number two, that Allah loves you. At the end of the day, that's all that really matters. Is Allah pleased with us? Because you are never going to please all of the people. I mean, there are a lot of comments that are just hateful and lack any substance whatsoever. But even some that they appear to have some substance, if you just think about it for a second. Like this one, it says, "Weak men can't control themselves. Deciding to blame women for their body is shameful." So it's so ridiculous. Like, let's analyze this, right? Weak men can't control themselves. Meaning what? Control themselves doing what? Right? Because if a man looks at something that's haram, a woman who is haram for him to look at, he's going to have a natural reaction. Okay? Is he supposed to be able to control that natural reaction? This is what's so silly, because of course, women, if they have somebody that they are in a loving, intimate relationship with, they want that person to be attracted to them. They want that person to look at them in a way where they find them beautiful and their heart races. They want that. Do people really think a man is weak if he's not able to control that? I mean, no man can control that. What they can control is where they look, what they see, and it's easier for them to control that if they're in a particular environment. Then he says, deciding to blame women for their body is shameful. When was I blaming women for their body? I never blamed women for their body. He says, Allah gave women their figure and gave you, man, free choice. A lack of temperance leads one away from Allah. Okay, Allah gave women their figure and gave you free choice. Allah also gave us laws to live by. He also gave us dress codes to live by. Somebody else wrote, he may not be able to control the attraction, but he can certainly control what he does about it. Yes, I agree. And by the way, these are some of the better comments, okay? Yes, I do agree that people are going to be held accountable for how they react. Just because they see something doesn't mean it's okay to act upon whatever desires they have. But let me give another example just to highlight how triggered people get when you specifically talk about things like women and how they should dress. If I lived in a society where locking your door wasn't a thing, nobody ever locked their door, there weren't locks on people's doors, and crime was through the roof, people were always breaking into people's houses and stealing stuff, and I made a video saying, we should lock our doors, we should put locks on our doors because it can prevent people from coming in and stealing and robbing things. Imagine I got a bunch of comments of people saying, thieves should be able to control themselves. We shouldn't have to lock our doors. If you want to leave your door unlocked, then that's your choice. In this scenario, I never said it was okay or justified for people to break into houses and steal just because the doors are unlocked. But rather, I'm addressing an issue and proposing a solution. Because obviously, if you have locks on your doors, people aren't going to just be able to walk in and rob you as easily. Now, if somebody wants to have an intelligent conversation about that, then that's welcome. But what some people would rather do is they would just virtue signal and demonize you for suggesting, something that goes against the status quo. So I mainly just wanted to record this video for Muslims who are upon the truth. You should be firm on the truth. I get hate comments all day, every day. But as long as I am conveying Islam properly, then those comments, they don't bother me. I mean, they bother me in a sense that I feel bad for people. I'm not happy that there are people who reject the truth, but it doesn't make me feel bad for conveying the message. It doesn't make me doubt the truth. Alhamdulillah, may Allah keep all of us firm. And I ask that Allah make this video beneficial. I hope other Muslims can also understand that Allah gave us the truth. We should convey it, we should act upon it, and as long as we are conveying the truth properly in a way that is wise, then even when people hate us for it, even when people reject it, that's their problem. They're going to be held accountable for rejecting the truth. And also beware of these tactics that people use to try to silence any opinion that goes against any of their newly found progressive ideals. Allah knows best. Thank you for watching. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.